Hi everyone and welcome. So today we're going to be talking all about contouring. So I want to show you one of my favorite techniques for contouring, and that is called underpainting. And that is when you do a fairly dramatic contour and then actually put your foundation right on top. So what that does is it just really helps soften everything, and it brings out the natural dimensions of the face without looking too overdone, too overworked, too sculpted. So it's much better for maybe a more daytime situation or a special occasion where you don't want to look too overdone, but you still definitely want that definition that contouring that contouring can provide. There we go. I said it. So if you would like to learn how to do this, go ahead and keep watching. So I've already prepped and primed my skin, and now I'm going to go ahead and do my contour. Now for this, I'm going to be doing a little bit more of an extreme contour, only because we're going to be going in with foundation, so that's going to mute a lot of it out. So I'm going to be using my Makeup Forever Flash palette, and I'm going to be using the brown and the white shades, and I just have those scraped out here on my palette, so I'm just going to be working from that. So now that I look absolutely crazy, let's talk about what I did. So the purpose of contouring is really to bring out the natural bone structure in the face and to just kind of slim it down and make it look more even. So I have more of an oval face shape. So what I really wanted to do is pop out the center of my face and slim down the sides. And then obviously just bring the cheekbones out a little bit more. So if you can see, I've highlighted right through the center of my face, around my eye area, a little bit on the chin, and then my shading is more kept at the perimeters of my face, and then obviously I just kind of wanted to carve out the cheekbone just a little bit more. So you really want to, before you start contouring, really identifying what face shape you are is super duper important, because it should be more corrective. Not everybody is going to place product in the same place, because it's really going to depend on what your face shape is and what features you're actually trying to bring out. So a good exercise to do is, and I'm not going to do it right now obviously because I have crap all over my face, but it's to really touch your face and feel where that natural bone structure is. And you want to shade just underneath where you want the bone to pop out and highlight just above it. And that's just a really good gauge to help you figure out where it is that you need to place your product. Also, there are tons and tons and tons of photos online. Just make sure that you're picking one that is your face shape. I can't stress that enough. I see a lot of Instagram photos where I'm like, girl, no. But anyway, so let's go ahead and blend this in, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so all blended, but still looking absolutely crazy. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is pop our foundation right on top of this. And what that's really gonna do is just, as you can see, I still have a lot of harsh lines. Also, I'm wearing two colors that are about as polar opposite from my skin tone as you can possibly get. So what we wanna do is go ahead and even that out. So I'm gonna be using my Makeup Forever foundation, HD foundation, and my Bare Minerals smoothing face brush. And I'm just gonna stipple my foundation right on top of what we did. And it's really important you want to stipple your foundation. You don't want to buff it, because what's going to happen is if you buff your foundation, you're just going to smear all of your contouring around, and we don't want to do that. We really want to make sure that we're still keeping those highlights, we're still keeping those contours, we're just bringing it back to a realistic skin tone. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that on real quick. Alrighty, all blended. So as you guys can see, this really softens the effect quite a bit. So you can still see that definition in the cheekbones, you can still see the highlighting under my eyes, but everything is much more soft now, much more wearable. I could definitely walk out into natural daylight looking like this now, as opposed to before when I looked like a clown. So much, much better. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and set this. Now, the next step is kind of optional. You don't have to do this with a contouring palette. I am for the purposes of this tutorial because I figured if I'm going to put this much makeup on my face, I might as well just go for it. But you can absolutely just stop here and just use a translucent setting powder. Just make sure when you are setting this, if you're not using like a contouring sort of palette and putting different colors in different spots, that you're just using a gentle motion. So you're just basically just pressing it into the skin, because again, what's going to happen is you're just going to blend away all the coverage that you just achieved, and you're just going to blend away all the work that you just did. So you really want to make sure that you're careful. Powder puffs work really well for this. Just stay away from getting too angry with your brush. So for this part, I'm going to be using the Anastasia contour palette. I am going to be using this center shade here, which I don't know what these are named. This is like the more the taupiest color in here, and then I'm going to be using the yellow one under the eye area, and then the matte kind of like beige one everywhere else. And I'm basically just going to pop this like right over where I did all of my highlighting and contouring before, so same spots. I really do love this palette. I find that with contouring sometimes, the biggest mistake that I think sometimes people make is they don't contour with the right shade or the right texture. I see a lot of really shimmery contours, and you don't want to contour with a shimmery color, because really what you're trying to do is create depth when you contour. So if you pick a product that reflects light, it's really going to have the adverse effect. Same thing as with products that are way too orangey or way too brown. What you're really trying to do again with the contour is you're trying to create a shadow. Shadows aren't bright orange, so making sure that you pick something that has more of like a cool kind of taupey undertone is absolutely fantastic. Sometimes I'll even use an eyeshadow to contour, especially on really fair skin, like a really like kind of like almost like taupey browny purpley sort of color can be really super pretty, just because it just again creates that really natural shadow. Obviously we're not doing super natural makeup today, but just a good tip in general. So I am going to go ahead and pop this on all over, and then we're almost done. Alrighty, you guys, so there we go. We're all done. So off camera, I did pop on 2 more products real quick just because I couldn't help myself. So I put on a little bit of blush, and that was Bellissima from Kat Von D. And then I did put on a little bit of highlighter, which was my MAC Refined Mineralized Skin Finish. And I just rubbed the skin finish, I didn't rub, I used a brush, just through the center of the face, and then on the cheekbones as well. I couldn't resist. I had to have something a little bit shimmery on my face. And then I just popped a tiny bit of blush and blended it into my contour. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So definitely this isn't something that you might do every day, but it is a really nice option if you just want to elevate your makeup for a special occasion. This looks really super nice in like a daytime photography setting. So it's really good for like if you're going to be doing like engagement photos or wedding photos or graduation photos. It looks really nice because it definitely softens the contour in that natural lighting, but you still get to pick up that definition that you're looking for, but you can't really see any harsh lines. Like I just look like I guess maybe I went a little bit nuts with the powder. Maybe you can see lines a little bit, but definitely not like your typical like Kim Kardashian sculpted. I think her makeup artist must use like a piece of paper to cut that jawline. So this is definitely a more natural alternative for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I will have links to all the products I use in the description box below, and please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.